Welcome to the Tapestry of Life on CCP TV, the educational channel of Community College of Philadelphia. I am Dr. Pascal Scoles, Professor of Behavioral Health and Human Services. Today's topic is a mother-child story of recovery. Addiction is a process, not an event. As a family disease, those who have been affected by addiction may take years to recover. Without question, it can seem overwhelming, but it helps to keep in mind that commitment to recovery process is also a commitment to the overall well-being of the whole family. Today we are discussing addiction and recovery process of both a mother and her younger daughter. I want to welcome back my co-host, Rick Ford, from the Department of Behavioral Health, and of course, our special guests today are Rashia Green and her daughter, Tatiana Green. Tatiana is actually 14 years old, which is wonderful that you're in recovery at 14. So maybe we can start by saying, how did life begin with Tatiana, and how did it wind up being a situation where both the mother and the child have a history of addiction and recovery? You know, it's interesting that when you look at the literature, and maybe I'll start with this short statement here. When you look at the literature, it's hard to find a mother and a daughter, or a mother and a son for that matter. You hear stories about the daughter's addicted, or the mother or the father's addicted. So you're actually in a very unique situation. Do you think you're unique?
Yes.
I'm sure you do.
Well, I really didn't know when Tatiana started. In the beginning, I didn't know because I was already in my addiction. So me not being there, there, but not physically there, or mentally there. So I wasn't able to notice that she was using drugs also, because I was too caught up in my own self.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I stopped the second time around for me to notice that she was getting high.
Oh, okay. Now, I know that she's your middle child, and I'll ask Tatiana a second what her story is, but can you tell us a little bit about your history? I mean, how young were you? Maybe tie the children into your addiction, which is the kind of the way the show is going today, at least.
Yeah.
Well, I started drinking at 12.
Oh, okay.
By 12, I started smoking weed. 13, by 15, I was already on PCP.
That was your drug of choice, if I'm not mistaken,
Yes,
from our
it
earlier
was.
discussions.
I've been on PCP for 15 years.
God knows how you survived PCP
Yeah,
for 15 years.
It's only by the grace of God, because people that I have seen that I got high with, it's just totally gone. So I was blessed to be still in my right state of mind.
We rarely get an opportunity to talk to people who have been on PCP, because a lot of our shows deal with more traditional drugs of abuse and use. Can you tell us a little bit about PCP and what your subjective, the effect it had on you, and whether that PCP was related to, were you pregnant and you were on PCP with any of your children, or?
Well, the effect that it had on me in the beginning, it was just like, it was a fun high. You know, you can't talk, you can't walk, you know, things of that nature. But as I progressed and started smoking the dippers,
What's a dipper? People don't know what that is.
Yeah, well, embalming fluid. My cigarettes was dipped right into the embalming fluid, so the effect had much more impact on me. And then I was always ended up in the hospitals, not knowing how I got there, not knowing when I came in there, you know, or when I did come to off my high, I was always like strapped down to the and restraints.
Well, for everyone, I mean, that's actually a drug that does make it quite violent. I mean, some of the crazy stories you hear about addiction, PCP, angel dust, all kind of names for it. A lot of crazy things happen because you just really do lose your mind.
You do, you really do.
So, you know, and I want to go kind of bounce off of that, out-of-body experiences. Now, you mentioned waking up in the hospital several times because of the use of PCP. What, you know, what's really weird about it? After finding out that you'd had an experience,
I
you
went
would go,
back.
you would
Go
go
back.
right back
Right
to
back,
smoking.
right back, because I needed to get that same thing that brought me back the first time and see if I can go back the second time. It's insane, but this is how it was.
Has there been times where, now let me kind of back up a little bit. How clean are you now? How long have you been in recovery now?
13 months.
That's a lot of time, 13 months. And I think it's important that people understand that you can stop using drugs and get on the road to recovery. As you mentioned earlier, Pat, we've never had someone on the show who used PCP. And to be able to get through that without being in a mental institution or having being on some type of medication by using that. So that's what are you doing to maintain your recovery right now?
I make meetings. I pray a whole lot.
Yeah.
Like
that
that's
works,
my
don't
main thing is I pray every day, and I'm very grateful for everything that for God waking me up, and just to see another day with a right state of mind.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just really so important. Like just the small things, I'm so grateful for.
Have you had any urges, cravings, or desires?
Nope.
That's great, man. You know, that's a dangerous drug.
Yeah. Triana, does any of this make any sense to you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I know that you were not using PCP, and why don't you tell us a little bit about your history? I know it's, thank God, brief in the sense that you're 14 years old now, and I think you told me you started.
I started when I was 10 years old.
10.
10.
Oh, 2 years younger than you told me in the cafeteria.
Fourth grade.
In the fourth grade.
Yes, fourth grade in elementary school. I was going through a lot at the time. I mean, my mom was going through her little thing, I couldn't really focus. And I started hanging around friends that had cousins and stuff that smoked. But although we never smoked, but one day we just all tried it.
Yeah, talk about marijuana, right?
And we liked it, so kept smoking. And my thing was every time I got money, I had to smoke.
Okay.
Like, I just had to. And I've been smoking for 5 years. And now it hit me that, like, it's old. I can't do it no more, I'm too young. I got a whole life ahead of me. I got great expectations for myself.
Now, you're clean how long?
60 days.
60 days. It's a lot of time, and your age, you're at fairly high risk in the sense of, because a lot of your friends are still doing what they do. But the fourth grade, when you look at the data on where people start, it is going down now into what is called the elementary school.
Yeah,
People used
absolutely.
to say, due to prevention programs in middle school.
No.
It's actually down below the sixth grade now. So you saying that it started in the fourth grade is what is actually being reported, that starting that low. Now, you didn't mix alcohol, though. You went right?
No.
Or did you? You went right to marijuana.
I smoked. I'm not a drinker. I was a smoker.
Okay.
So.
Can you give us a little idea, like in the fourth grade, how do you get the weed, and where do you wind up smoking with
Is
them?
I'm just
just curious
because
because
person
the
that go get it
age
for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, my friend's cousin, she used to always have weed on her, but we used to give her our money so she can go and get the weed. But sometimes she used to send us to go get the weed, so the people let us get the weed.
Because they knew you then.
Because they knew us.
Well, what's also interesting is that it is your friends that introduce you to the drug. It's not some wild, crazy maniac somewhere who's trying to get you addicted. It actually is
Your
people
peers.
you know.
Your peers.
Yeah.
When I first started, we all smoked at the same time. Before that, we never smoked before.
Where did you smoke? Like you were in the back of where?
Outside.
In a house.
In a house, someone's house.
Yes.
Okay.
How did you manage to do that and deal with school? Explain that to us. Because sometimes people think that when they got high, they can focus more better and.
I didn't play ball school. Though.
Well, me, I always been the type to go to school because it don't matter what I'm doing. Like, I still got to make it right for my future.
Right.
Like, I want to go to college and stuff like that, But without going to school, I can't do none of that.
Yeah.
So even though I was doing bad stuff, I still had to do what I had to do at the same time.
Did your grades drop off from smoking, or did you keep them pretty much?
No, they didn't up until I got a little older, probably like in the 7th grade. That's when
When
my
you were an
grades-
older dude, right?
Yeah.
Smoke more.
I could say I smoked it more when I was in the 4th grade.
Really?
Then I smoked it
Oh,
throughout
you
the
got-
years, yeah. Because when I was in the 4th, nobody didn't think I was smoking. I was
okay.
getting money all the time, and I just was smoking.
Yeah.
That's all. I was getting more money when I was younger than I would get.
Now,
when
in
I
the
got older.
context of them introducing you to marijuana, were you introduced to any other kinds of drugs, or you were just, smokers? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying that
mean-
you tried it, but you could talk about it if you want
Yeah,
to
go
tell
and
that
talk
to your
about
mother.
Once I got older and when I got in the 7th grade, I started smoking syrup.
Drinking syrup.
Drinking
Drinking it.
syrup, well, I was using it when I dipped it in cigarettes or I
Oh.
put it on my weed and I smoked it. But what stopped me from using that is that I almost passed out.
Yeah. What can you explain to the public what syrup is?
Is a drug, something that gets you high, but it's like a liquid, and it's real sticky.
Well, what's kind of
syrup.
interesting is that
It's
kids,
cough syrup, yeah.
Yeah, I joke when I say that to you because it's not uncommon for them to try medications, drugs,
Yeah.
and not know what they are. Actually, it's an opiate-based medication. It usually, it can be highly addictive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you use it infrequently and occasionally, I guess it didn't get you into any trouble.
Yeah, I only used it a couple times. I mean, when I wanted to have fun.
Oh,
Did you do that with your friends? Did you guys drink syrup, or did you kind of keep that solo
I
to
wasn't.
yourself?
I wasn't using syrup with my friends. I was using it with it was a friend, but it was a close family member. It was a boy though.
Okay.
okay. Now,
And-
did your mother know any of this going on? Why? Because she was high, or was she?
I never felt it. I never wanted to tell her about it. I thought that she would be too disappointed in me.
Oh.
Even though I know she just finding out just now, but
Today? She just
Today.
found it out?
today.
Yeah.
Oh, you
So
really?
you didn't know it.
Wow.
Well, did any of this have influence on you that your mother was getting high? I mean, did it set up any kind of a well, if she's getting high, what's the difference? Or what was the relationship when you saw your mother high and then you're smoking?
I wasn't doing it because she was getting high. I wasn't like, oh, well, since my mom getting high, I'm going to get high.
Okay.
No. I just got introduced to it and I liked it. So that's what I continued to do. My mom didn't find out until I was in the 7th grade, but during the summertime. I was almost in the 8th grade by then when she found out.
No.
I was in the 8th grade. What grade?
I just found out.
She just found out
When we
today.
moved, no, I
Oh.
just found out 6 months ago that
6
Tatiana
months
was
ago.
getting high. When I found out, because I had to ask her, like, how long you been getting high? She said, I was getting high since I was 10. And I was devastated, but at the same time, right, I couldn't really be mad at her because they only lead by example.
Yeah.
So I really wasn't that upset, but, I talked to her and I was telling her, my story and telling her what I went through. And, you shouldn't want that for your own self.
Yeah.
So, as time progressed and I see that she wasn't changing none, I had to make a decision for my own self.
For yourself.
Yeah, so I had to let her know either you go and get help on your own, or I would have to place you somewhere, because not saying that my kids is not important to me, because they are. But at the same time, this is my life I'm talking about. At any given time, anything could happen.
Okay.
Anything.
Do you feel any guilt or remorse or anxiety about the fact that do you take any responsibility for
I take
the
all the
situation that your
responsibility.
daughter
I
was
take-
put, even though she says it had very little influence on her use, and obviously if you look at the studies about peer pressure and
I
fifth
understand
grade,
that.
sixth grade, that's what you tend
Yeah.
to see where the influence is. But as a mother who is getting high, and you're trying to raise a daughter, I know you have 3 children. She's your middle child, I think you told me. When you
I
found out,
felt-
what was it like?
I was a little hurt because after all she seen me go through, like why would you want to do anything? But then as a person, she have to go and go through her own things. Some things that we want to hide our kids from or protect our kids from that we really can't. And that's one of the things. That's drugs and some other things you just can't keep from your kids, or you have to let them go through it on their own to see what their own experience going to be. And I wouldn't want them to go through that, and I do feel responsible because had I not been into what I was doing, I would have took more into my kids, because I always been a person that was always into my children. No matter what I'm doing, my kids always came first. And there's some things they just see me get high. I've been getting high for 15 years. They only knew 5 years of me getting high. So I always was the parent that worked, took care of the kids. I didn't never allow my kids to stay out. They barely ever went outside. So therefore, if I was aware, I would have knew before it got too bad when it started.
Sure.
You-
Does any of that make any sense to you when you hear that?
Yeah, it does.
You know what's really interesting about that? You mentioned earlier that when you realized that she was struggling or that she was using, you said you have a choice: either I place you or you get some help. What happened? Did you voluntarily say, "Okay, Mom, I'm going to get some help"?
The thing is, I've been wanted to, because I started getting angry that I ever even got introduced to weed. I started doing crazy things
Like what?
Do you mind sharing those things with us, as they say?
rob people's houses.
Yeah.
Right.
Go
What kind of things would you rob?
stealing.
Me, money and stuff, or?
Some people don't even leave money in their house, but like soaps and stuff, and I just trade them into the store and get money
Yeah.
for them. Stuff like that, and I felt like I was a fiend.
Right.
I
because
really did.
You wanted more.
And that hurt my feelings, because I shouldn't be doing all that.
Okay.
And then like I'm young.
Yeah. But now, knowing that, having said that, because you're 14 now, and a lot of people you got high with, how do you handle those folks that you congregate with, your peers, they're still using? What happens when they see Tatiana and they want to roll up a blunt? And what do you do to offset that?
I stay high and keep it moving.
Yeah.
That's all.
Because one of the things that's in recovery is people, places, and things,
And situations.
and situations.
The other one.
The thing is that that's all me and my friends got in common: smoking.
Yeah.
That's it. So if that's the only thing we got in common and I don't smoke no more, why would I still be around those people that smoke?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to trade on my friends like, oh, I'm not cool with them because they smoke. But I'm just not going to be around them while it's going on, because I don't want to fall in the wrong trap. And I don't want to go back to my old ways, because I was real nasty.
Yeah.
How did you learn all this? Did it just come to you one day, or did someone talk to you, or are you in? I think you told me you're seeing someone now in treatment, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Did you get some of those skills? These are good skills, actually. These are
Oh,
skills we actually train people to
absolutely.
deal with. And I'm wondering how you arrived at that level at such a young age.
My therapist, she's a great therapist. Like, we talk about everything. And I mean, she don't judge me on none of it. She just give me advice
Yeah.
and stuff, and I take it all in. And I go to NA meetings and stuff and hear what they gotta say, and it make me want to stay on track and do what I gotta do, because I want more clean time than using time.
Wow. Wow. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
And we're going to do whatever we can do to support you doing that. You're a great singer. For the listening audience, you can tell people you are a singer. So destiny waits for you. What do you want to do with your life?
I definitely want to go to college.
Yeah. What about community college?
Yeah, I wanted to go to community college for like 2 years.
Okay.
So I can get my associate's degree and then go away to college.
Okay, cool.
Well, we have a lot. I mean, not this is a community college TV show, but
okay.
there are a lot of ways in which you can be in high school and still take courses that are college-based through one or two of our programs. So that's something you could look at as you get into your 10th, 11th, and 12th grade.
Yeah.
So when you hear the story as a mother, how were your other two children? Let me ask that question. I mean, she's your middle child. Are the other two children, did they have, or are they having difficulty or any problems based on your history?
I have all girls. I have a 16-year-old with a baby.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, she's really going through it. I guess in my addiction, I had to put a lot on my children because they now, from being taken care of to having to fend for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it brought a lot on them. My oldest daughter became rebellious to everything, you know, and being getting myself back together and back on track, because I know when I was out of control, it made my children out of control. So as I'm getting back on the track, I'm trying to deal with each child individually, because each child got their own different needs. And my oldest daughter, she gets high also.
Oh, she still gets high?
She does, but she's in placement now. So her I think she got abandoned issues because she wants to be home, and she feels though that, you know, since I'm together and all the other kids is home, why she can't be home.
Now,
but that's another issue that is
now
all
here's the
in
interesting
itself.
perspective. What does your sister tell you about what's happening?
She goes through it. I mean, we don't talk as much now that she had went away, because, I mean, she don't call that much.
Oh, okay.
But
were you close to her?
I was the big sister because I was always there for my little sister, but she got common sense, but some things she just don't understand. Like, so I tried to guide her through it and give her advice on stuff that she's going through. I don't judge her though. That's one thing. I'm always there for her.
Are the three of you closer because of your mother's life experience, or it didn't matter? I mean,
that didn't matter.
Oh,
It
okay.
didn't matter because we always been together. So it was like, that's all we know is each other.
oh, okay. So there was this sense of knowing each other and having some kind of feeling about how you're going to structure your life. I guess the three of you talk together about the future.
I mean, my little sister, she barely knew what was going on.
Okay.
It was
How
just
old is
me
your
and my
little
big
sister?
She's 13 years
13. So it's just a year difference between you and her.
old. I mean, I'll be 15 next month.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Moving up, right? Yeah.
But yeah, we always been close. We always watched out for one another.
Okay.
You know what's really interesting? You have your own personal recovery, and Mom, you have your own personal recovery. Do you guys ever sit down at dinner time and talk about today's events or this meeting or urges or cravings
Well,
or?
that's interesting.
Every day.
We go to meetings together.
Oh, you
on
do?
Mondays. Yeah,
Oh,
we go to
really?
meetings together.
Do you share in the meeting and talk about things in front of your mom?
No, I mean, it's like a person tell you a story every week.
Yeah.
But I don't raise my hand. I just take in stuff. I
You're
mean,
listening.
When I get more closer and more into the group, I probably will share.
Yeah.
But right now, I'm just taking stuff in.
Now you mentioned earlier about like you're struggling, and define to me a little more in detail when you say you're struggling, like with the urges or with the cravings, wanting to get high.
Wanting to, because this is something that I'm used to. Something that I did every day for 5 years straight, like nonstop. And that was my thing. I mean, I love to smoke. And now that I'm clean, I mean, I got 60 days, I still get a thought like, what do I want to smoke? And then everybody around me, they smoke.
Yeah.
So what I do to try to prevent that is stay in the house, but it's stressing. It is stressing. And then school, I'm not doing my homework, so now I gotta make it all up for the marking period so I won't fail and get all my credits at the end.
Yeah.
And it's just like hard. It's just so much on me right now.
Do you think if you smoke the weed That it will make it better for you?
No, I know it won't, but it's just something just to relax me.
Well, if it's a lifestyle you've been used to since the 4th grade, you know, it's going to take a while to change that behavior. And they claim, and we've seen it in treatment programs, that you'll struggle with this for a couple of years.
Yeah.
But it will pass. Let me just say that it does pass.
That too will pass.
It'll pass, but you'll think about it a lot for a good 2 years, and some people even go up to 3 or 4 or 5.
My first 30 days,
Horrible.
I just threw it. No, it was good.
Oh, okay.
My first 30 days, cause I'm like, oh well, I ain't thinking about that no more. I don't want to do that, cause I feel as though since I got 30 days, oh yeah, I ain't going back, you know. But as I started going on and been seeing some stuff, it made me just want to do it again.
Yeah.
But I don't want to fall in the wrong track. So.
Do you dream?
Dream?
Do you have dreams?
I mean, I be too tired. I don't know.
No, the reason I ask is because there's a good body of literature out there that says that if you can't do your addiction in consciousness, that energy is still in you, and sometimes it works itself into your unconscious dreams, and people will have drug dreams. Actually, drug dreams are a good sign in the sense that you're not doing it in consciousness.
Yeah.
So that's why I asked. I thought maybe you had that experience.
Just a little bit. I'll be celebrating 23 years, hopefully in October, and I still have drug dreams. But you know what happens when I have them? I wake up and start laughing, because it tells me that this addiction never goes anywhere. How do I keep it under arrest? I still go to meetings. I still have a support mechanism. So I encourage you, keep doing what you're doing, because you're well on your way. You're well on your way. So we're going to make sure
it never actually disappears, because it's energy, and it has a kind of a circular motion to it. What happens over time is you don't spend as much time thinking about it.
Yeah.
But every once in a while, an event, a trigger out there, and it throws you back. It could be talcum powder. It could be. There's a lot of events. It might be a song. I mean, and what you have to do is learn how to escape from it, and it'll disappear. And they say, sometimes they used to say, go to bed and tomorrow's a new day, which is actually very true. It doesn't stay with you for days and days and days, but it does get easier to deal with over time. And hey, look, you're 2 months and you're young. I mean, so.
Are there a lot of young people in your group that are in recovery where you go for your treatment?
It is. It is.
What do you guys talk about in there?
In group? We talk about our focus is not always on drugs. We do projects, you know. We write letters to ourselves to like let all that stuff go, you know, and see how we really are.
Yeah.
See what we really been going through and how can we fix those problems. So it's like we do self-esteem, we do stuff like that. We have group discussions about other things. Like we last week we cut out magazines and we put pictures of like family or probation, drugs and stuff like that. And that's just it's the bad stuff and the good stuff, you know. The stuff that we don't want to turn back to, and the stuff we try and get on track.
Yeah. Yeah. See, recovery, youth in recovery is different than adults in recovery.
Yeah.
You know, it really is. I mean, what you're doing is exactly what you hear is the most helpful things to be doing. You know, you're looking into the future. You're seeing the good and the evil, as they say. The adult recovery population, they'll reminisce more about.
Yeah, good and
Yeah, they'll reminisce more. What does this? When you hear your daughter talk, what does it?
I'm happy that she's doing what she thinks she needs to do for her own self. Like, 'cause some things I can't give her. I could give her my experience. That's all I can do. So
what are things as a mother you think you can't give her? Just
that I can't give her.
Yeah. What do you think you can't give her?
I can't give her time back.
That's right.
I can't do that. So therefore, all I can do is be there for her now. So like, we talk every day. We talk like, whatever. She going through something. She lets me know.
Yeah. Both of you, have you gotten closer to each other in recovery, or you're
We
smiling?
got closer when we got back together as a family. When she got clean, doing what she needed to do for herself, we got closer. We was always close. I always loved my mom. But we wasn't as close as we are now because we're back together. She's in the right state of mind. I'm in the right state of mind. And we talk about a lot of stuff that we've been through and we experienced. And we talk a lot.
You know, reunification is a healing process. Part of the process for recovery. It's wholesome when you see families reunifying, getting back together. So you guys spend good quality time together, joking and laughing, having good discussion. And that's, it's fun part of recovery. This is great when, I think folks that are listening that are struggling with family, that this would really motivate people, younger folks and older folks, to understand that we all suffer from the same thing, but we can bring it back together.
And see what how our relationship is. I'm not living on guilt, so we're not close because I'm guilty of anything.
No, I understand that.
And that's how a lot of people get the misconception of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because I'm not trying to make up for lost times.
Exactly. Yeah, her point is valid. A lot of women who've been through this whole thing, attachment, separation with their kids, they get clean, and a lot of times the kids feel like you owe me something.
Yeah.
And a lot of times the adults or that individual feels like I have to make up. Part of making up is that you stay clean. That's the biggest goal right there, that you maintain getting a day clean and everything else will fall in place. There's a saying that says, when you think it's all falling apart, it's really all coming together. And you guys are together today, so I applaud you both for that. It's moving when people see this kind of stuff happening. Recovery is real and is alive, so we on our way. Yeah. The struggle continues, victory is certain.
Well, I heard that one before.
Yes, we have.
So what else happened? Now, when you were in the throes of your smoking and all of that, were you able to just avoid your mother, or I was kind of curious as to did you, or she was so high that you never even had to pay
I
attention?
avoided her.
Yeah, she pretty much avoided me. I mean, but even though I was doing stuff, I was trying to get her to feel where I was coming from too at the same time. So I used to talk to her like, I mean, I know you don't want to see us, end up like you did, but you gotta get yourself together. And but now when I was smoking, I understood it's not that easy, and it won't happen overnight. When she was doing it, I didn't understand.
Oh, right.
I didn't. I thought like, oh, she just want to do it because she want to do it. She don't care, But it's not really like that. When you in an addiction, it's crazy. You don't care about nobody but yourself, and how you going to smoke again, or how you going to do your drug, how you going to get the money, or it's not that
Just
easy.
to get one more.
Well, I'm glad you guys never got high together.
No, I don't play that.
Oh no, you never.
Anyway,
did.
I
won't
play that.
I won't disrespect
It's
my
a
mom
line
like that
drawn.
anyway.
But let me
But I
ask you
see a
this.
lot of people, that get tired with their kids and stuff
Yeah.
like that. I just, it's this line of respect, because if I start letting them do that, then they feel like they can start disrespecting me.
Yeah.
And no, I don't care what I'm doing. I'm not getting high with them.
Now here's the insanity. You ever got high and then came home and said, I'm going to go home and talk to my mom?
I got that
don't
impression.
even-
That's what she did.
Did you?
I'm not there in the state of mind.
Talk
I don't
to
know
her about like.
No, like, a lot of times people get high and they get this false sense of courage, or they get this high level of thinking that, all right, I can go home and have discussion with my mom at that level.
They couldn't have a
Me,
discussion with me.
my mom
I'm
wasn't.
serious. They could not have a discussion with me. They can't say anything to me. I can't understand anything they were saying to me anyway, because I'm out of my mind.
Yeah.
When you say you're out of your mind,
I'm out of my mind.
what does that mean? You're out of your mind?
I don't even know who I'm talking to. I can see you there. I don't know that's you. I'm out of my mind. I'm somewhere else. I'm not even there.
A
Can't
lot of
function
blackouts. You
right.
wound up in different places and stuff.
And I could be right there. I could be
Yeah.
right there in front of them. I don't know.
PCP's
Dangerous.
a dangerous drug. I got the impression that you understood your mother's story better when you were getting high, because you appreciated why she's having
I
difficulty
mean-
not getting high. Is that?
Yeah, I mean, because I experienced it
Mm-hmm.
and I understood how hard it was, because I really did want to stop myself too. I really did. But it's just something that just kept me going back.
To the drug.
And I didn't understand why. But I understand now that it's hard. Like, it is hard, so you can't just do it overnight. Or you can't do it for nobody else but yourself, because at the end of the day, you only live for you. And
Where'd you get all
Yeah,
this wisdom at
Where you
14?
get all that from?
I
Older
In
just,
2
people don't
months.
have those.
no, it wasn't. I've been like this for,
Ever.
yes, forever.
Well, I think she got something from me. I did. I did.
Oh.
I'm
Because I
a
used
wi-
to
I'm
tell 'em,
wise.
though. I
I'm
used to tell
wise.
my kids.
I got a lot of common sense.
She asked me a question one day. She asked me, do I regret anything that I did?
Yeah. Well, do you?
No.
You don't regret anything?
I
You had to
don't
do it over
either.
again and do the same thing?
No, I
No,
would
Oh.
do everything differently, but
your
no,
past make
it's
you who
who
you
I
are today.
am. And when I told her that,
It
she
is.
was so mad at me.
No, and I understand
I
that.
wasn't
I
People
understand
ask
that.
me that,
Yeah, they
and
asked
I
me
would
that
tell
too.
people I would never change what has
That's right.
happened. It has made me who I
Yeah.
am today. So I understand
Yeah,
that.
that story.
Yeah.
I mean, at the time I didn't understand, but I understand now, because my past made me who I am today too.
There
That's
you
true.
go.
So,
Actually, a lot of people want to think of their addiction in a negative way, but in reality,
Oh, you got to stop
It-
doing it.
in reality, you can't ignore your past, and you try to make the best of the experience to move yourself forward.
Yeah.
So you never want to say, if I had to do it over again, I'd do something totally different. I mean, you are a successful young lady now, and it's partly because you went through that experience. And you'll be stronger as you age,
And-
assuming you stay clean.
you asked me how I'm real wise and I'm only 14. I've been through a lot in my life, so I saw some stuff, and I understand. And I saw other people's mistakes, and it made me learn. And I don't want to make certain mistakes that people done made. So
So those friends that you kind of got high with, do you ever have times where you see them and you start giving them that knowledge that you have now? What do they say to you? I don't want to hear that right now. What?
they sit down and they listen. They do. I try to give advice to everybody. I don't always try to make it seem like I'm better than anybody, but I just want people to understand where I'm coming from, like, and know that there is a way. I mean, and all that would mess you up in the long run. It really would. So I talk to them and I say, you know, I always use this first, like, I ain't trying to act like I'm better than nobody, because I'm clean now. But it's just, it get old, and you have to do what you gotta do now. You want things, but how are you gonna get it when you backtracking?
Yeah. Wow.
What do you think of your daughter now?
I never thought of her any different.
Oh, okay.
Even when it was just that I couldn't have her in my household doing things that she was doing.
Oh,
I never thought of it. She's a great kid, you know. She's a
you
great
seem
kid.
fairly close now. Were you always like
Always.
this way?
Yeah,
Oh, you always were? Oh,
always.
okay.
I was always with one.
Yeah, middle children. My middle child, I feel it's something about, I don't know, there's something, you can look at the birth orders and start to talk about them, and there's some data out there about that, but somehow middle children are just,
Wow.
they're used to dealing with older and they're used to dealing with younger, and she's your middle child,
She's
right?
the middle.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's so much that's waiting for you, and we're going to just stay with you and watch you, and, you know.
We'd like to, in a couple of years, bring you back and see what happened to you. We do that here,
Indeed.
too. So what's your plans for the future with your children? I mean, and I want to ask her what her plans are as a
Hopefully
child.
they
too.
finish school, go to college, and live a successful life. You
Yeah.
know?
What are you doing now with yourself? I mean, are you?
I'm all over the place right now. I'm like all over the place. I have like I'm doing so much things because I got the baby now and trying to do everything with her, get her affairs in
You mean
order.
you're taking care of the baby of your
daughter?
daughter?
Yeah. And how old's the baby?
She's 2.
Two. So it's all about a balancing act for you.
Yeah.
Taking care of the baby,
Doing-
feeding the
yeah.
family, go to the meetings.
It's looking for a job.
Yeah.
Looking for a job. So I'm trying to make it all work out.
Yeah.
I
It
just
seems
take
like
it one
all
day at
through
a
all
time.
through the addiction and the recovery, there's not been a tremendous amount of conflict between the two of you.
No, the only conflict that we really had is with any child and their mother, you know, who wants to see their mother out there like that.
Yeah.
And that was where our conflict came in because, you know, she didn't want to see her mom out on his leave, stressed out on the streets 3 days a week, you know, in the hospital. And, you know, since I got diagnosed with diabetes, you know, and my diabetes being so bad, and was still trying to get high, and I think that was another part of why I was sick, and then on top of the drugs, it didn't make my situation any better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you see your father at all, or do you? I'm not curious. We never even mentioned the
Because
other
it's
part
me.
of a family.
Because it's me.
It's you.
Well, I just got back in contact with my dad.
Oh, okay.
About like 2 weeks ago.
Oh.
We got back in contact, whatever. But on Father's Day, I say Happy Father's Day to my mom.
Oh, okay.
That's my father and my mother. I mean,
So you've always had a kind of a single family unit, right? The mother
it's
and
it's
children.
always been me, my little sister, and my big sister.
Oh, okay.
That's it. That's all. That's all.
Wow. You running things in the house, ain't you?
She be trying.
She be trying.
She be trying.
So yeah. So you better with taking care of your chores, coming in on time, and all those things.
I cleaned that kitchen good last night.
No. We still got areas to work
You're
out.
still working on some chores and responsibilities, huh?
Yeah, Tatiana got to get better with that.
What, chores and
Chores.
responsibilities?
Responsibilities.
Well,
She wants to do things when she wants to do them, not when she's told to do them.
okay.
She have a lot
I
of-
was kind of, since we have a 14-year-old here, I wanted to just ask a couple of questions. Like, what do they call, when you were in the 4th grade, what were drugs called there? I mean, because
Well, at
we
the
tend to think of them as a different story in
At
the
the
adult.
time, it was weed, but as I
They
got
still call it
older,
weed?
it was cheeb.
T?
Cheeb.
Teeb.
Cheeb.
Cheeb.
That's
Yeah.
old though.
Cheeb, bud. I always say bud. That's it.
And they call blunt. Now you guys, you know, it's really, they didn't smoke like a sticker joint. You guys were smoking blunts. And what do you call that? Is that correct?
Duchess.
Dutchess, which is a cigar.
Duchess.
And you guys take out the tobacco. Or do you keep the tobacco in there, or
Crack it, open it, take the stuff out of it,
The
put your weed in
tobacco.
and roll it.
so you just really utilizing the leaf itself, right?
Yeah, but you gotta take the cancer paper off.
Well, I wouldn't know what that is.
The what paper?
Cancer paper.
The cancer paper.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, I tell you, man, it's very interesting. At 14 years old, you were blessed to be able to stop using and move in another direction. And so I hope that folks that are watching will understand that no matter what age, whenever you stop, you can start moving forward.
And I didn't want to end up doing other things. I mean, I don't see myself being on any higher drugs than weed, but at the same token, anything is possible.
Yeah.
And stuff lead on to stuff
Yeah.
and leads on and leads on. And I mean, I wouldn't want to do that, but anything is possible at the same time. So if I would have kept being in my addiction, I probably would have got more and more and more.
Well, not only that, you mentioned robbing people. There's some consequences. Jails.
I was getting nasty, and I was being selfish, and I didn't care about nobody.
Yeah.
I really didn't.
Now, during that time, were you talking to your mother, or who were you?
No.
You just talking to yourself, I guess.
I hold everything. I hold everything in. I went to a psychiatrist before, a therapist. Stopped going. I didn't care. I mean, I wanted to do what I wanted to do.
And it was your attitudinal change, you mean, that got you back into where you want to be now?
Yeah. The crazy things I started doing, it just made me be like, I can't do this no more.
What, besides robbery, was there any other crazy things you were doing that you want to talk about? Was there anything?
No.
No, okay.
No, I don't think so.
No.
So, Mom, let me ask you this. And there's a point and period where we stop using. Can you explain in a few words what happened on that last day? That last episode of smoking PCP, and whenever you came out and you said, I can't do this.
They took my children.
They took your kids.
Mm-hmm.
Awakening. That was an awakening for you.
Yeah, they took my children. And my children were with family members, and my family members was acting like I was just an alien. Like, okay, they my kids, I still can't see my kids. Even though they with them, I can't see my kids, I can't talk to my kids. Knowing that my kids were still going to school around the corner, and I couldn't see my kids.
Yeah.
That was devastating to me.
Yeah.
And I had a counselor at the Wedge, and I went there every day. I was hot and I was tired, and I was just done. I was done. I would go in there every day and cry to him every day, please put me somewhere, please put me somewhere. And every time he would try to get me somewhere, it was just like something else was going on. They lost my urines. Everything was coming up. And that last day, he told me to come back, and I came, and he wasn't even there. He wasn't there all that day. So as I was leaving, he was coming through the door.
Yeah.
He said, I was off today, but I came in just to help you out today. And I had just got my check. I just got my check. So I'm like, he gonna help me today?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know about today.
Pick a fine day to get help,
yeah,
huh?
you know, why you can't do it tomorrow or something like that. But, and I said, all right. He was like, I'm going to place you today. You're going to have somewhere to go by the end of the day. He said,
Yeah.
matter of fact, go home, pack a bag, and come back.
Wow.
So I went home, and I was like, oh, my God, what am I going to do? Because I really didn't want to go today because
you had that
money,
check.
right? But so I just went to the hair store, got me some hair, packed my bag, and went back. Because I know that hurt and that pain was never going to get any better. And I was just so hurt. And, you know, I went into the program, and I was devastated. I was like, really like, I felt so much pain. Like this last run was so much pain. See, because when I went to the program before, I didn't endure no pain. It was just like, okay, I mean, it was all right.
Yeah.
But this time, I had the pain that came with it. Like the reality had set in. And it was like, phew, I think I never felt like that in my life. Like they were my babies. They was like, no matter what, I always had my children. So when my children got taken from me, that was just enough for me. I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep, I couldn't breathe, and I couldn't get high.
Wow.
When they separated, what was it like for you when they told you couldn't go home to see your mother?
I was mad. I used to sneak down there though and see her or something until they got real strict to the point where they didn't even want me going down there. Soon as I had a certain time to be home, and soon as I got off of school, I had to go straight home. And I felt some type of way because I didn't get to talk to my mom, and I was so close to her. Don't matter what she did, it's still hurting me when I didn't see her. Like,
Yeah.
it's just not the same not being around my mother.
How long were you guys away from each other?
3 weeks.
3 weeks?
Because I went in there and did what I did, and I came out and I was on my GHS working hills the whole time. So the day that I got released from the program is the day my kids came back
Came
home.
back home.
But I stayed, my bad. But I stayed with a neighbor until my mom got her house.
Oh, okay.
Which she got her house 6 months ago. And then I went back with her because at the time I know that she needed to do stuff. Like she had to get back in her programs and stuff and had to. So with us not being there, it wasn't a lot of stress on her, so she can do everything she had to do without worrying about is we eating, is we sleeping good, you know, and stuff like that. So I gave her some time. Gave her some time. to do everything she had to do.
She what?
She was across.
She was across the street, but I understand
Okay.
that you needed to be able to take care of you and build a foundation for yourself, and then when the appropriate time was right, then the reunification process came into place. What a great way to come home.
Yeah.
Back home with mom.
Yeah, but when she had a fresh new house, and it was just a new start,
Great.
I moved.
You moved back in? So you always stayed connected, even though they told you couldn't get in touch with her. You found
I
a
mean,
way, so to
When
speak.
she was in the program, I didn't. I talked to her one time,
Okay.
but I was talking to cause I was at my cousin's house at first. There was a little altercation at my cousin's house, and I had moved with my neighbor. But before I moved with her, I used to call her every day and tell her what's going on with me and talk to her and stuff, because she was really there for me, and she made sure I was cool, you know, made sure I was comfortable where I was at, you know. She went to court, was fighting for me and stuff. I really appreciate her, and she was really there for me.
Well, that must make mom feel good, didn't it? You know, she has a tremendous sensitivity to her mother, so to speak.
Yeah.
I mean, she seems to have a good feel for what you were going through. I mean, partly based on her own personal experience, but also seems like there was a bond between, I guess, maybe all of your children, but surely I can see it with this child. That do you have that bond with the other two too?
Yeah.
So through your whole, this is kind of interesting, because normally when they think of addictive mothers, they think of the bond being split, and that they don't seem to get along as.
They was angry with me. They was angry with me throughout my addiction, but, you know, in between times when I wasn't high, you know, we could talk and do all this. And because I guess they couldn't understand, like, what was so important about what I was doing.
Yeah.
But what they didn't understand, that everything that was just important, this is what I needed to do all day, every day. And I remember one day, I was going, you know, to get my drugs, and the way I was going at was where they hung out at. And he was like, "Oh, can I get $1?" I'm like, "I got $25. So, and this is what I need. So I can't even give it to you. I can't even give it to you." And it hurt my feelings, but only for a second. You know what I'm saying? Because.
But through your addiction, this is the point that, and I don't know, maybe I'm just keep repeating the story, but through your addiction, the bond between the two of you stayed fairly close, which is unique. I mean, we got to package that one. I mean, how because normally you hear stories and the children say, "Well, I don't want to deal with my mother. You know, she never cleaned my life. She never did this. She never did that. And she never cooked. She never was home. And, you know, people would come. I can't even invite people over to the house because of the chaos that existed." But whatever happened.
And that was all of that.
And that was all there. Now, here's what's interesting. That was all there. But you can clearly see from your daughter here that she truly loves you. Which is kind of, there doesn't seem to be any animosity about the whole story.
I never turned my back on her. Plus, I was always with her, and she was always there for me when I needed her. So, you know, I had to be there for her, too. Even though I was mad and I didn't like the things that she was doing, she was still my mother. And that's the only person I have, so.
I think that's the law of nature. The umbilical cord was never detached. So if that means anything, I just think that, you know, you guys are truly a model for folks, and just need to stay focused. And let me ask you this. Have you had any reservations? Had you rid yourself of all reservations?
I don't have reservations. I think I'm just done. That last one just had me done. I'm just done.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm grateful that, you know, God gave me the ability not to feel that, you know, even the wanting, the cravings, you know. I thank God that He haven't gave them to me.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah, that's
you know,
good.
So I'm just truly blessed.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yeah, I tell you, it's a very good story.
Yeah, a different, unique story in the sense of what you traditionally think of. And I sit here and I say to myself, gee, it would be nice if we could like package this somehow, that through all this anguish and addiction, there's still a tremendous amount of love between the mother and the daughter. And it goes counter to what you read in the literature. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. So, I mean, I was a little, when we first were going to air talk about getting together and have the show, I said to myself, wow, I don't know how this would work out, because I even in my own practice, when I had a practice, I never saw this story.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen the story of an addicted child or an addicted mother or a father and abuse that would go on, and you get a whole different feel. But somehow, you all like kept it together through your addiction. And so I assume if recovery is what it's supposed to be, you two will stay close to each other for a long, long time.
We will.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
How about the other two daughters? They
They
feel
love me the same.
the same thing.
Yeah.
Do you think the other daughter have any type of resentments because you guys are clean?
My daughter has resentments because you're not here.
Because she's not here, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
She wants to be home like the rest of the kids, but sometimes we make our own bed, so that's the bed we have to lie in.
Okay.
Some
Would-
things I can't protect you from. I just can't.
Say tough times don't last.
Why don't you tell us, where are you? I mean, if you don't mind. You seem to,
I'm
it's a
at-
positive story, so I don't mind mentioning the
Yeah,
facility.
indeed.
I'm at the West Building on Broad and Windrum.
And what's the agency that's,
Um,
is it, or just a private person you're saying?
it's a whole group thing.
Oh, okay.
I see two people. Some lady named Miss Shonda and Miss Kawana, and
Okay.
they help me through everything.
And you're an individual and group, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you do any related like activity like art or dance or music? Do they have those kinds of activities? Because that's another piece that people
Yeah.
talk about
Yeah.
in the sense of youth activity.
I mean,
Trips or
not really. I mean, we do visit like other recovery centers and stuff like that, and they every Saturday try to send me somewhere so I can get some more knowledge.
Okay.
And be occupied and stuff like that. So
Great.
it really helps.
And are you're active in recovery too, right?
Yeah, I'm currently about to go back to outpatient, just outpatient. That's once a week. Stipulated. The court asked me to go back there, so I'm about to go back to Credenza.
To Godenzia, the one down the street from here.
No, Schoolhouse Lane.
Oh, the Schoolhouse Lane, Godenzia. Okay. All right. Well, great story. I mean, I want to thank both of you. You were great guests today,
Yes.
and of course my co-host,
And I thank you.
Rick. Well, that's all the time we have for the show today. I want to thank my guest again for being with me today, and I want to thank you for watching. You have been watching the Tapestry of Life on CCP TV, the educational channel of Community College of Philadelphia. I am Dr. Pascal Scoles, Professor of Behavioral Health and Human Services. See you next time.